Welcome to Coding Chat's holiday special. What? Hang on a minute. That's not me. What's going on here? No. Cut. Happy holidays. Welcome to the Coding Chat's holiday special. In this special episode, I'm going to answer a selection of questions sent in by you, the Coding Chat's audience.
If you had to rebuild your engineering career from scratch in 2025, what would you do differently and why?
Well, I probably wouldn't change anything. I'd still lead and I'd still learn by doing. Nowadays, I'd leverage AI and Google to find answers quicker than I could back before either of those existed.
And what are the habits that shaped your growth as a software engineer?
It's back to reading. Just look at the books behind me, and I'm surrounded by books, my bookshelves here. Reading and building. Approaching both with a keen sense of curiosity. How does this work? Why do we do things this way? What are the alternatives? That is what's helped me learn.
With AI accelerating this fast, what's the part of software engineering you think will survive the next decade and what part won't?
I think all of it will survive. AI is an amplifier for what we do as software engineers. We build software with good practices and done well, it's going to amplify that. If we do it without those, it's going to amplify the things that we're not doing well. But I think all of it will survive. Ultimately, might change a little bit as it has over the last 30 years, but it's not going to disappear.
What advice would you give to someone looking to learn programming but unsure where to start or which programming language to choose?
So I would start with focusing on learning the fundamentals of computer science. Be sure to understand operating systems, networking, and data structures and algorithms. Then learn to code in JavaScript or Python, followed by C. Picking JavaScript or Python gives you a chance to learn programming. Which one you pick will depend on what satisfies your interests. If you're interested in web development, go for JavaScript. If you're interested in games, JavaScript or Python will be fine, depending on the type of games. If you're interested in data science or machine learning, pick Python. After those, I would learn C, because C teaches you how your programming relates to the fundamentals you've learned. You don't need to become an expert, just learn enough to understand it. You can then take that knowledge and use it to learn more of whatever interests you, going deeper on JavaScript or Python, or heading into system software and doing C, C++, Rust, or Go. I would also leverage AI as a teacher. Don't have it do the work for you, but ask it, how do I? But only when you get stuck. Don't rely on it as a crutch. Or, what should I read about to answer this question? Again, don't trust its answer. It does hallucinate, but use it to point you in the right direction. Use it to unblock you.
How do you recommend early career back-end developers break out of the no experience, no opportunity loop?
Now, it's hard, and the best advice I have to offer is to do what I did. Build your own project that is big enough to be noticed or be interesting. They're not necessarily the same thing. For example, whilst I was at university, I built a deathmatch bot for the first-person shooter game, Quake. It was quite popular at the time, so due to the popularity of the game, the bot was downloaded and used by millions of people. It got me noticed, and I had games companies reaching out and inviting me to apply for jobs with them. Nowadays, you can not only build a modification for an existing game like I did, but also a full game leveraging some of the great game engines and game libraries that are available. Perhaps even publish on Steam. You might also gain and show some paying customers. Alternatively, if games are not your thing, build an application, a website, or a mobile app that solves a problem that you have or you care about. That could be a fitness tracker, could be an AI coding agent, could be a specialized AI chatbot, or a custom text editor. It really doesn't matter. What is important is that you can show you're delivering something end to end. You show the ability to build something significant either in its complexity and scope, or that it solves a real problem for real people, showing that you understand the need to create value for customers. We don't build software professionally just for the sake of it. We build it to satisfy customer demand. Now, none of this is going to guarantee you a role, and it often won't be treated as the same as professional experience, but it will help you stand out from the crowd who have nothing else to show.
What types of projects or contributions actually count as meaningful experience in the eyes of hiring managers? Freelance? Open source?
Now, this is going to depend on the organization and the hiring manager, and they're not going to be the same, even within the same organization. I work with several organizations who hire people who have contributed to their open source, or to open source libraries and tools that they depend on. They found those people through the open source project. Now, it happens, but it's not that common. Freelance work is professional experience. However, building an end-to-end solution for a customer that involves some complexity will be viewed very differently from creating a simple website project that you got from Upwork or Fiverr. So, again, Think about the scope and impact and the complexity of the projects.
As a CTO, what would convince you that a self-taught back-end developer is ready to join and contribute to a team?
I really don't like this obsession with treating self-taught as less than whatever the alternate is supposed to be. Now, partly because I consider myself to be self-taught. I started learning to code when I was 9 years old. I learned C when I was 17 years old, and having learned several previous programming languages. I also did a computer science degree. So I think the whole idea that it's computer science degree or self-taught is flawed. Again, I did both. Many of the best software engineers I know were also self-taught. Some then went on to do a CS degree. Some didn't. Some came to software engineering years after changing careers. What always sets them aside is their interest and passion for the job and their growth mindset. So I would rarely consider a CS degree relevant when hiring, unless I'm hiring for a new graduate. For everyone else, I'd rather talk about what they've done, what they bring to the table, what experiences they've had.
What makes a good software engineering leader?
So leadership is situational. So a good leader needs to be able to read the room and adapt to the situation. It's somewhat flawed to suggest there is one single correct way to lead. The kind of leadership a new graduate needs on a project they have no experience in is very different from the kind of leadership a distinguished engineer needs in their area of expertise. Equally, the style of leadership depends on what situation you're in. During a crisis, it is very different to the style required when things are going well. Different environments also require different approaches. A good leader should better adapt to the organization's environment, the people in the room, and the situation. I wrote a great piece of this for my Developing Skills newsletter, which we'll link in the show notes.
As you've recorded the Coding Chats podcast over the last 18 months, what themes or insights surprise you the most while hosting these conversations?
I am always surprised at how broad the field of software development is. We have people from all walks of life, from all over the world, developing software, using what seems to be the same small set of programming languages and tools. But then, when you really dig into it, we're using a surprisingly large number of programming languages and tools. Many supposedly dead languages are still out and popular. Now, people are still learning COBOL and Fortran today and building new code with them. People are also working on software for anything from a 10-cent microcontroller through to billion-dollar data centers and everything in between. Also, the mainframe market, I believe, is now bigger than it has ever been. Yet we think of mainframes as something from the past that are no longer in use.
How early should engineering leaders treat architecture as a strategic concern rather than a technical one? And what are the practical consequences when they don't?
Well, I think you can only ever be too late, not too early. We're always building software to create value. We do that through the strategic choices we make, not the technical ones. With that, it's time to wish you all a happy holiday season and a happy new year from everyone here at Coding Chats.